Well, can I just say one thing? That's what, because when I was thinking, like, what would men potentially feel is lacking a security, and with that, honestly, we don't have that because there's no worry of a child. So we're just saying I see like how a man could feel that way, and that we didn't experience that. That wasn't something that was a point of contention in that specific experience.
Well, let's back up a little bit. We're talking about insecurity versus security, because I hear these terms thrown around a lot. Right.
That's what I want to get to the root
I think we perceive them very differently.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's harder or easier to gaslight somebody who's secure?
Harder.
Way harder, right?
Yeah, of course.
Way harder.
Yeah, way harder.
So if you were to go to a man who was really secure and say, baby, I want to hump other men, would it be harder to convince him?
Probably,
right? So hang on. So it's not that he's insecure; it's that he's so secure that your gaslighting won't work.
No, 100%.
Right? Isn't that what's really going on?
Yeah.
I have a situation.
Or is it? So what you're trying to say is the opposite. You're trying to say he's so insecure that he won't accept this relationship standard. No, I say, and according to their logic, they would agree. He's so secure he won't accept your gaslighting.
And I
also
also
think, hang on to get really quickly.
Yeah, no problem.
To get back to what I was originally talking about with you guys. Is in trying to have their backs, right? And you're kind of proving my point. You have this like Madonna whore complex thing that sadly is like permeated through society.
I don't even know what that means. What does
I'll
that
explain
mean?
it. That's okay. I'll explain it to you.
Okay.
But I feel like when men are so secure, now granted, porn, sex work, that is an extreme thing. I'm not saying everybody, oh, okay, be comfortable with that, go on your way, la-di-da. It's a personal thing. I'm saying if somebody knows you, knows your choices, respects you, respects your work, and they're secure enough to go, you know what? I know you shut that part off. We're transparent here. You know, we have these boundaries. I respect you. And, you know, nothing can get between us. Like, it's me and you, and this is your work, and that's separate. I think that's cool, and that's rare. And it's just what you guys are saying, sadly, I think just illustrates the boxes our society, whether it be culturally, biologically, whatever it is, has put us in now. That's all I was trying to say, if that makes sense to you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that negates what I said at all.
Well,
because you said a secure guy is gaslit. I'm saying a real secure guy who knows the situation they're getting into, knows what you guys have,
it's impossible
knows
for them to
nothing
know.
can you know, dismantle that.
How could they know?
Or get in between that. I think that's secure.
How could they know what they're
he
signing
knows
up
what
for?
you guys have. I'm not a sex worker. I'm not a sex worker.
How could you have the expectation that a civilian would know what they're signing up for?
Well, and that's what I wanted to say is that you don't know it until you're in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I think you continue to have conversations. But what I was going to bring up was that you brought up that now we do have DNA testing and all of this stuff. So if you're thinking about humans still evolving right now, wouldn't that, I'm trying to think of how I want to say this, wouldn't that take away that natural insecurity, or you don't think that? I'm just wondering. I don't have an opinion.
So evolution's going to happen to an entire species gradually over millions of years.
Do you think that's happening now?
Over millions of years. How long do you think we've had paternity testing?
No, I don't know. Not very long.
Well, how long do you think not very long is?
I mean, probably like, that's what I was going to say, like 40 years or something.
You don't think 40 years is long enough to evolve, do you?
No, not necessarily, but...
No. Hang on. At all.
At all? Then there's all... I don't want to get into that right now, but...
I mean, if you're talking about social evolution, that would not be biological evolution.
Yeah,
also,
so I do
could
agree...
have been born before, not that this would change anything, someone could have been before the invent of paternity testing.
No, 100%. I'm agreeing with you. I don't think it could happen in 40 years, but I'm just wondering if you think
maybe
that
40
in the
million?
future, if this is all happening, if the way that we are in the society would affect how we will biologically interact.
So it would be possible from the evolutionist purview that in 4, 5, 6, 7 million years, we will be able to leave that behind us, yes.
But do you think
I don't
we
think,
should be
considering
working
that
now
all of recorded human history is about 12,000 years old, recorded human history,
for sure.
12,000 years old, I don't think that it's going to take a long time to leave that
But I guess
behind.
I want to follow that up by asking if you think it's headed that way, should we be acting towards that evolution anyway? Like, should we change how we interact with each other?
I'm not sure that it's heading that way. I'm just telling you that theoretically, if you're asking, is it possible?
Yeah.
Then the answer is yes, it's possible. In millions of years, you could leave that behind from that purview. That doesn't mean we're evolving towards that.
Yeah.
In fact, it seems like we're evolving away from it, and here's why. Because reproductive dead ends. So right now, the birth rates in the West, the entire world are collapsing.
Yeah.
Free fall rates. Everything is below replacement all over the entirety of the West. The reason for this is because women are having children later in life. They start about 30. The average age
Yeah,
for
that's
marriage,
what's gonna
30,
happen to me.
31.
Yeah.
And so you're unfortunately, the fertility goes way down.
100%.
Way, way, way down. So a lot of women are going to end up being reproductive dead ends. If that's the case, then probably monogamy is going to make a swing back in a
Yeah.
big way. So no, I don't think we would be evolving away from it anytime soon.
Yeah.
And we have those preferences there, the biological preferences anyway, of
Right.
men find it revolting to share their women.
For sure.
So with that being said, just out of curiosity, you're straight and date women. Are you dating right now,
No,
Andrew?
I'm married.
He's married.
Oh, you're married. Okay. So just sheer curiosity. When you see your wife or whoever you dated before your wife, whatever it was, like flirting with another man or whatever, does that make you feel a type of way? Does that make you feel jealous? You're shaking your head.
Yeah.
Well, I'm interested to see what you
Yeah, well, see, because I'm so secure in what my expectations are, right, I would feel completely disrespected by that. And I
Oh,
would
that's
feel
interesting.
secure
Okay.
enough to say something like, what the fuck are you doing? That's how that would go.
Interesting. I mean, I get that's your vantage point.
See,
and
I
how you
think
feel.
that the purview of the most secure man is a man who will tell a woman that they won't accept their bad behavior, whatever that may
So
be.
why is flirting bad behavior? I'm just debating you from my point of
Sure.
view, right? So I have the best guy, I've like dream relationship,
Because
right? And hang on
yeah.
a sec.
Well, I was trying to answer your question.
So
but go ahead.
okay, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying.
No, I'm just getting to the root. When you say bad behavior is flirting, it's like, why is that bad behavior?
Well,
like to
that's
me,
what I was trying to answer.
Okay,
It's because of respect.
but okay, so I just am going to disagree,
It's
and that's
per
okay.
person,
We can have
what
healthy.
you feel,
Exactly,
you know
we
what
can
I
have
mean?
a healthy disagreement.
Okay, well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
Okay. Let us assume any random man, it's a random guy,
Sure.
random, that we were to teleport you into a relationship with him tomorrow. Just some random
Okay.
man in the United States, okay? You don't know anything about him. Would you say that if we teleported you directly into a marriage with him and you began to flirt with other guys in front of him, that he would appreciate that or not appreciate that?
So that's just a random, obscure example of like taking an alien from Mars and marrying them.
Yeah, it's a
but-
hypothetical designed to test your logic. So answer the question, please.
Why are you so combative today?
That wasn't
I
very
don't know you. I
combative.
just met you, but my oh my.
Because
My point is,
I'll explain. People
Okay.
often obfuscate away from points when they're asked to test their logic.
Can
And
you
the
just
way
explain what obfuscate means?
yeah, it just
It means
they
get away
yeah
from
they try to get away from it.
So here's my
So
thing.
do you think that they would be more or less likely to be
It
upset?
depends on the person. This
Yeah,
is
I
what
know
I'm
it's a
saying.
random person.
Your view of what's disrespectful and all this is completely contrarian to what I think, right? So
Agreed.
when me personally, I don't know about you ladies, that possessive, and listen, I too have had my own journey with this. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be
You've
super.
had a journey?
I've had a journey.
Are you
I'm
on-
the journey,
are you
right?
on
And
your
you're on my
journey?
journey right now. Lucky you.
Did I meet you on your journey?
I don't know. We'll
Or are you
find
on the
out.
path of your journey and you met me?
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, go ahead.
Of possessiveness and jealousy, right? So I'm just saying for me now, it is the sexiest thing when a guy is not possessive jealous. When he's like, go ahead, guys, eat your heart out. Yeah, flirt. Yeah, whatever. Because at the end of the day, she's my girl.
Wait,
and that's
what
hang
about-
on,
No.
and that's her in her power. Like, that's just me. You guys don't have to agree. And I've seen it time and time again. It's like,
Okay.
life is too short. Like, just be
I'm
in your
actually-
individual
I'm happy to
respective
engage with
powers.
this. Happy to
Like,
engage with
be in
this.
your power and to box your significant other and be like, oh, you can't do that. You can't.
Wait, hold on.
Why wouldn't it?
Hold
To
on.
me, it's hot when girls are like, oh, your man is hot. Does some of that like possessiveness come up? Yes, but it's hot. It's like, yeah, be in your power, baby. At the end of the day, it's me
would
and
it
you.
be hot? So you said possessiveness,
Yes.
that's bad. Trying to kind of control you, that's bad.
That's right.
So if you're in a monogamous relationship and you were inclined to open up the relationship and then go have sex with another man, would that be possessive or controlling for your man to insist that you did not do that?
It would have to be a mutual decision. It would have to, and I think the transparency is what's really cool.
Yeah, but
you
would
said-
it be insecure of him to not want that?
No.
No.
It depends on the person. It totally depends on I could understand why, and we're not there, but I could understand why a guy would be like, or a woman would be like, I'm not down with that. I don't feel comfortable
So then,
with that.
let's back way up so I can engage exactly with what you're saying. Back to this alien transportation hypothetical.
Yes.
If you were
Elon
teleported
Musk.
directly into a marriage with some random guy, I know it depends on the individual. Totally agree. Do you think
Yes.
that random guy would be more likely to get jealous by you flirting, or less likely?
My friend.
If it was just a
Again,
random
it
sample.
depends on the guy.
I know it depends on the guy.
So how can you have me
Because
answer
so
that?
here I can
I think the
explain.
human thing
I
is
explain
someone
exactly how
more
you can answer
insecure,
it.
and that
Somebody
the
com-
conversation is if you either are or you're not, but it's
So let's say
more than that.
this. If 70% of the men in the United States, okay, 70% of the men in the United States would get jealous by their woman flirting with somebody else, then if I ask you this question, if you were randomly teleported into a marriage with a random guy, then your chances are still going to be high. Hang on, if it's 70% of being teleported into a marriage with a guy who would be jealous, right? So you can't answer the question.
I think it is
I'm
a
reading
yes.
this comment.
Because of just if we know the way men think, or we like to think we know, we never will truly know. But then if that's what they're expressing, I do believe that. But I think it goes to the point that you were saying is that if you say to your wife, this makes me feel disrespected, she shouldn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
And vice versa. I think that I wouldn't be with Delaney if she wasn't pushing me to be a better person and calling me out of my shit. And if you're not willing to take inventory and look at where you're wrong or illogical or too emotional, then we can't have these conversations because we're not willing to even step out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I agree with you that it is a personal thing.
It's a
And maybe I can
personal
look
thing,
at
and,
it at a different angle. Is it empowerment, like you said? It's empowering for you to be able to flirt, right? With
Sure.
other people. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it
That's our power as women. We're
also
hot and
empowering for you to tell a man not to flirt if it makes you uncomfortable?
yeah.
They're both empowered.
Hang on,
Again,
hang on, let
it's
her
apples
answer.
and oranges
Answer-
because I'm
not answering the
I'm not
question.
empowered by that. It's
Okay.
it's total apples.
So it's not empowering?
Because when you get to the root of it, right? You said her flirting, whatever, it's disrespectful. What is that shaking underneath? Really, if you get to the root of it, why do I feel a type of way? It's insecurity. It's they might like this person more than
I
they
think
like
it's
me.
insecurity.
Oh, they might leave me.
No,
for,
I think it's
for
insecurity
them.
the
That's
opposite
what
way.
It is. It's
If you're
like,
with a secure person, a
come
secure
on.
person has boundaries. If a secure person has
Right.
boundaries, then actually by allowing you to do that, they're showing they're an insecure person.
You're insecure putting your significant other in a box.
No,
Period.
you're
Let them
insecure
be a fully
demanding. You're
embodied
insecure
human.
demanding that they go outside of their preferences.
I think it's
That's
about
insecurity.
consent.
Then
At
find
the end of
someone
the
who
day.
has your preferences.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
box
about-
them in.
Right.
That's
Well,
my
if you're going to
point.
find somebody who has your preferences, that goes all the way back to the conversation of, do you think you'd find somebody who's more likely to have your preferences or not? And you still refuse to answer that question.
It's less.
So my
Less.
boyfriend's pretty secure, right?
Yeah.
And there was a point where we didn't know what we were like in relationship wise, like definition, because we started off as friends and then we were fuck buddies and then we just ended up living together. It's a whole convoluted thing. But there's a point where I was flirting with some guy because I was like, I don't know if I like anyone else. And he's like, well, don't come crying to me if you find out that his dick's not as good as mine. And he just walked away. And it scared me so much that he was probably right that I stopped talking to the person. It was really attractive that
You guys can't
he
convince
actually
me it's not all
didn't.
insecurity.
No, he's very secure.
Go ahead.
He's very secure.
I don't know. You
Go
sound
ahead,
like
go
you're
ahead.
insecure.
So
honestly.
personally, I wouldn't even approach the idea of entering a relationship if someone's views on relationships differed from mine. So I feel like that's a first base conversation just to casually talk about, to gauge each other's preferences, boundaries, all of it, to not waste each other's time. But also, I feel like me personally, if I was in a relationship, all that matters to me is honesty and communication. So I don't see myself being in a monogamous type of relationship. That's just not something I want. It makes work difficult. It's not more so for work reasons, but just me. And I feel like that is something that's discussed in its boundaries, and obviously a relationship like that.
Well, and what
wouldn't
you're
work
saying,
with.
what you're saying is rational, is reasonable, but you would have to concede too that you could enter into a relationship with a person, and they
People's
could
change.
have the pre-agreement, and then after they're like, wait a second, this actually feels different, or I can't handle it, or this type of thing. You couldn't really get mad at them for that,
No,
right?
and that's always like, if they feel that way, then obviously this is not something that would
Yeah.
work. So we just
The reason I
part
asked that
ways.
is because, by her definition, how she just gave what she thinks security and insecurity is, she would think that that was being insecure. Yeah? Is that security or insecurity that he's in the relationship?
I feel like somebody, what you're saying, matching your.
No. She gets with somebody who does match it.
Okay.
But then after 6 months, he goes, look, this feels way different than I thought it would.
That's fine.
Right?
Of
But is he
course.
being insecure?
No, it's about
Not necessarily,
He's being
no.
secure.
Well, hang on. Let her answer.
No, not necessarily.
What does that mean? Not necessarily.
Well, it depends on the situation.
Well, I just gave you the situation. That's the
I think
situation.
it's a
Same with her
consent
sex
thing
work.
more than
Consent
anything.
thing.
That's
You can
exactly.
change your consent at any time.
If he's like,
yeah.
look, it's too much, which I'm sure you dealt with, then it's too much, and
Now-
okay.
now, is
I'm
that-
not like you're a little baby bitch.
No,
I'm
I
just
get
saying.
it. But is that man being secure
Yeah.
by
Yes.
staying true to these values and saying, listen, this feels way different than I thought it would. I don't like it.
Again, Andrew, I think it's at the root of why they don't like it.
That's why
Is
I'm
it
getting
an
at the
So
root.
that's, and it could be a little
So
bit.
it is
could be-
insecurity.
it could be a little bit of both. It
I
could be
feel
I'm
like-
secure in
See,
how
but
I
this
feel,
is-
and
this
it could be
is-
insecure in like.
When you keep
all the
saying, let's get to the
reasons I
root,
listed.
that's where we're at. I'm getting right at this root.
And if you
do think that that is insecurity ultimately. Because,
I just said it's a mix of the two.
yeah, what does that mean though?
I
So
just
then it
said
is then.
I just said.
I
So
like-
if it's a mix, then it is.
Boundaries
Amnesia
and
show.
insecurity are almost like
So if I took-
interchangeable words in that scenario.
Yeah, so if I took silver and I took gold and I melted them together, there would still be silver, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if there's insecurity plus blank, there's still insecurity. So you saying it's a mix of insecurity plus something else means you still think it's insecure.
Right.
Yeah,
I
so
said
so
that. I
then
said it's
you
a
think
mix.
it's insecure for a man to halfway,
No, I said
in 6
if
months into a
he-
relationship, not want to date a porn
Yeah,
star.
no. I said getting to the root of it. If one of the reasons he's like, this is too much, it's overwhelming. I said if one of the reasons deep down, he may not even, this person, alien, may not even admit it to themselves. It could be partially an insecurity. It could be upbringing. It could be a number of things. But you
But in
and
this
your
scenario,
Mr. Alien
Yeah,
man
yeah,
from
so-
Elon Musk's space,
so
I don't even know.
So in
Like,
this scenario, though, he just says, "Listen, it feels different than how I thought it would feel."
sure. Okay.
Is that him being secure or insecure?
secure.
Secure, and then
Secure.
I think that when you're
He's walking away.
as
But
women,
you don't
we can
think so
show
still,
our
right?
security by if someone says that they don't want that, then you're so secure in yourself that it's okay and you can let them go.
I
To
feel
me,
like-
that's my
yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Like I don't think.
If you can set a boundary, that means you're secure in yourself. But
Agreed.
the thing is, you guys are just talking about you have two different boundaries. Your future male partner has completely different boundaries than Andrew's boundaries. But him setting a boundary with his wife and you setting a boundary with your
Yeah, I
future
don't-
partner.
Don't read the chat.
I'm not sure.
Even if
I'm
they're
not sure
totally
that that's
different
what
boundaries.
I'm not sure that that's what we're disputing. I agree that I have.
Grid One Motorsports donated
Yeah, thank you, Grid One.
$200.
Appreciate it, man. Good to see you.
So much delusion in one panel. Smells like a lot of evil feminism ruining women and queer relationships. Q for the panel. Are you feminist or do you embrace the patriarchy?
He's a brave and a decent man. He's a pioneer.
Yeah, thank you, Good One.
God.
So